It's time for the next part of the Unit 1 package for Reading Explorer Foundations. Do you know the meanings of these words below? Try to make a sentence with each. Check out this cloud. So I do want to show you this cool cloud that I saw on Instagram. And it says, what you see here is a phenomenon known as space jellyfish. Yes, you read it right. That's actually a term given for a phenomenon. There we go. So, phenomenon is one of the words that I've put on this vocabulary list. I'm going to go through each word. The first word is interstellar. Do you know what interstellar means? Of course, everyone knows the famous movie Interstellar, and everyone knows how to play that famous theme song on the piano. Next, we have asteroid. There we have phenomenon. We have abducted. We have shooting star, liftoff, UFO, and myth. So try to figure out what these words mean and try to make some sentences with them. We're going to move on to short answer questions. We are going to answer some questions. It's very good to use the APE technique. First, answer the question, then prove your answer, and finally, end your answer. So I use the APE a lot. The APE is a very good thing to follow when you're answering any question. So let's practice. Do you think we should explore space? Okay, how do we use APE? Well, we have APE here. Answer, prove it, and then end your answer nicely. So, yes, I think we should explore space. Okay, good. You answered the question. Can you prove it? Can you provide some evidence? What does that mean? Well, when you prove something, you show that something is right or something is true. So now I'm going to prove it or I'm going to provide some evidence for why I think we should explore space. If we explore space, we will discover lots of new things. Okay. For example, we could find water on another planet. Very easy. I'm just giving you some reasons why I have this answer. And then I'm going to end it nicely. You also might know this as a conclusion. It's always good to conclude things. You can't just say something and then walk away. You need to end it nicely so that the reader understands what you're saying and it just wraps it up really nicely. So, therefore, exploring space could be beneficial for humans. So, a good way to end your answer is to kind of say the thing that you said at the beginning, just in a different way. Exploring space could be beneficial for humans. I think we should explore space. Okay, so, discussion questions or short answer questions. These are questions that make you think, but they're also questions that make you say your own opinion and try to provide some evidence, try to prove it using the APE technique. Here are some questions. Number one, as more UFO sightings become common, do you think we will eventually make contact with an alien species? Make contact is a very nice phrase. It just means meet. Meet them. Like, will we meet an alien species? Will we make contact with them? Will we meet them? But we use make contact usually when we're talking about a different species, so something that is not human. All right, so if you're using ape, give your answer, provide some evidence about why you have that answer, and then end it nicely, conclude it. So, for example, I think we will eventually make contact with an alien species. So, it's really good to kind of use the question to make your answer. That's my answer. Where's the P? Okay. more and more scientific technology is becoming sophisticated, and our way of observing the universe is getting better and better. So, therefore, maybe this will help us discover or make contact with aliens. Okay. There are billions of stars in the universe. If you could, where would you travel in space? Okay, this one you don't have to be too worried about using the ape. If you just want to put your answer, you could say, I'll go to Mars. It'd be nice if you said why, but you don't have to. Why did Avi Loeb think Oumuamua was a piece of alien technology? That is a question that requires you to go back to the reading and to scan the reading so you can answer that. And this is a very important one because when you're using ape and the question is about the reading, you want to use evidence from the reading. So this is a question that uses ape, but it's about the reading, so you need to use the text to prove your answer. This is a question about your opinion, so you can use ape, but just talk about your opinion. You don't need to search the reading too much. Okay, one problem is space junk. We have junk, debris, and old satellites orbiting the Earth. This is all the space junk, broken satellites, things like that, garbage floating in space. Making space travel perilous. Perilous is a good word. Making space travel dangerous. Making space travel unsafe. Perilous is what that means. How can we remove all the space junk? This is again your opinion. You can be very creative here. You could say we could have some long snake thing, like a vacuum, a long vacuum that sucks up all the space junk. Or we could send people up there to pick it up. Okay. So moving on. My favorite thing here is matching vocabulary words with the appropriate phrases. I have some phrases. Sometimes they're definitions, sometimes they're just phrases that you have to match up with the appropriate words. So, for example, we have a giant hamster. Some of these are a joke, some of them you don't actually need. So, maybe I am trying to trick you. I don't know. Maybe one of these words does mean a giant hamster. A spaceship that travels at light speed. I don't know. A cool movie. I don't know. I like this one. They took me. So sometimes it's hard to actually make definitions of words when you're learning new vocabulary. And actually, it can be easier to just make a sentence, an example sentence that explains that word. So, they took me. What could that match with? Okay. This one here, end over end. I think a lot of people have trouble with this, and I want to show you what that means. I'll use this cable here, end over end. So if Oumuamua is spinning end over end in space, it means it's going like that. One end is going over the other end, over the other end, over the other end, over the other end, like that. Okay, writing activity, very important. Writing is the key to success. Use 3 words from this list and write an interesting paragraph, about 5 to 7 sentences. So you can choose 3 words. Sometimes students choose more. And you must write an interesting paragraph, a story. One thing I do a lot of with students is writing a narrative story. If you know what that is, you can do that. Okay, draw your own alien spaceship. Make sure to describe it and talk about its features like speed, weight, controls, weapons, tools. A lot of people, doesn't matter if you're young or old, like to draw this type of thing, but be creative. Try to draw some really cool, unique spaceship. And at the end of every package, I like to have some notes, things you learned, phrases, vocabulary, writing tips, anything you learned. In my live classes, I will help students with this, and I will put in some things that we learned because I know it's tough to go back and think about what you learned. You could call that a metacognitive strategy. Okay, also there is bonus content. There's a clip from Interstellar. There's also a cool clip of some UFO sightings by US pilots. And I always love to have songs. For every unit I do in Reading Explorer, I like to have some song that represents that unit. So we've got two songs. We've got Space Odyssey, or Space Oddity by David Bowie, and we've got Elton John's Rocket Man. So I encourage you to listen to those and enjoy. That is it for Unit 1 Reading Explorer.